Hey y'all, this is All of Destiny, and in this video I'll be showing you all how I bleach the knots on my lace closure as well as how I tint my closure for a more realistic look. This is what the closure looks like before I actually begin the process. You can see the knots if you look closer. And so yeah, I'm just going to show you all how to go from this with the knots to this closure without the knots, which looks more realistic. I'm using the BW2 Powder, 20 volume developer, a mixing bowl and brush, and also the lace closure, frontal, whatever you want to bleach the knots on, and I'll link all the products in the information bar below. Feel free to use gloves if you like. I was going to use a brush, so I didn't plan on using the gloves. I didn't get it on myself. Just use gloves for your safety, okay? So I'm using 2 scoops of the powder, and then I'm eyeballing the 20 volume developer. I did plan on bleaching another closure off camera, so that's why I used the amount that you see me using, but you don't need this much for only one closure. And I'm pretty much mixing all of that together. You want the consistency to kind of be a little more on the thick side than running, because you don't want it to seep down into the hair on the closure or the frontal. You just really want it to kind of rest on top of the knots, not really seep through the hair. So after I get it to the consistency that I like, I'm politely and lightly patting it onto the closure just to get it on the knots. I make sure to get it all over, depending on the type of closure that you have. Like if it's a middle part only, then you could just go down the middle, just whatever you prefer for your closure. But since I can part this one all over, I want to go ahead and bleach the knots everywhere, and I make sure that I get in the front as well, because you don't want to be able to see the knots along the hairline. I continue to lightly apply the actual bleach to the closure, not really pressing too hard or rough into the closure because you don't want it to leak through the hair. And when I'm satisfied with the amount that I've applied and where I've covered it at, I go ahead and I cover it up using aluminum foil. Wait a few minutes. You can check on it to make sure that it's not over processing. And after you're satisfied with it, you'll just go ahead and actually rinse off the bleach from the closure. I rinse it off like completely before I go ahead and neutralize it. This is what it looks like so far before I actually neutralize it. You can repeat this if you aren't satisfied with the way the knots were bleached, but for me, I was satisfied with it. So I'm using the Neutralizing Shampoo that I purchased from my local beauty supply store just to stop the actual bleaching process. And at this point, I did go ahead and wet the entire closure after I pretty much removed off all of the bleach from the closure. Now make sure that I'm neutralizing very well, and then I just proceed to rinsing off the actual neutralizing shampoo using warm water. And this is a body wave closure, so you can see that the texture of the hair does come back and bounce back, and just looks very nice after I'm done. Just parting the hair to see what the knots look like and what the actual closure looks like at this point. I did maybe miss a few spots here and there, but overall I think I did a pretty good job for this to only be my 3rd time bleaching a closure. Also, I'm not a professional. I'm just sharing with you all what I did and what worked for me. This is what the closure looks like prior to me actually tinting the lace. If you don't want to tint the lace, you don't have to do that. You can stop after the bleaching process, but I wanted to actually blend more with my skin tone, so I'm going to go ahead and tint my closure, or tint the lace on the closure. So this is the tea that I'm using. The instructions calls for 2 tea bags since they are fairly large. And I just went ahead and made some tea. I was like, let me just make some tea since I'm about to do this anyway. And what I did after I poured it into the picture, I just saved just a portion remaining just for this actual part of the tutorial. Just be sure not to get anything mixed up, okay? And I did add a little hair dye just to get it to the color that I wanted it to be, and you can use a spoon or whatever you have just to check the color before you apply the closure. So I didn't just stuff all of the hair over into it because I only want to tint the lace, and I made sure that it is still hot so that it actually works better, because you know, once tea cools off, it's not very effective. And while I'm waiting, I just poured myself some tea, check on it after a few more minutes. I did wait about 10 minutes. Just depends on the color that you want. If you want to go darker, then just use more tea bags, but for my skin tone, I didn't need to use that many, and I did just apply the tea bags over in the container just so that it's still soaking in the actual mixture. After about 10 minutes, I go ahead and I take the closure out. I'm just laying it over my arm just to check the color and see what it looks like. It is just tea, not chemicals or anything, so it's okay to just put it on your skin and see what it looks like, okay? So I rinse it out with warm water, and what the tea does, it pretty much just stains the lace, and that's pretty much why this works. and I like it. It turned out nice. It's a little more blended and it actually looks like it'll work better with my skin tone now. So that's pretty much what it looks like. Ooh, girl, yes, I like it. I love it. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm pretty much just proceeding to go ahead and condition the closure just to soften up the hair a little bit more from laying over in the tea and from everything that we've just done to the closure. And I'll just let that lay over in the sink for a few minutes. The actual body wave texture is coming right back after all of this, so I did want to show you that as well. Let the conditioner sit for a few minutes, rinse it out with cool water, brush it through, let it dry, you know, all that good stuff. And then I'll be showing you all in my next video how I'm making a full wig using this closure as well as the bundles. I hope this video helps somebody out there. Questions and comments, be sure to leave all of that down below. I want to remind you all that I'm not a professional, but this is just what I did and it worked for me. So yes, be sure to stay tuned, and I thank you all so much for watching. Check out my initial review and unboxing of this hair. I'll leave the link in the info bar below as well as in the card in the top right hand corner of this video.